it's usually somebody. It's usually somebody that that has done something for the community. That has, I mean, it's usually somebody that's contributed something. And I don't see myself that way. I play in the band. I'm a bass player and singer. I was born there. Everywhere I go, I make I kind of tell people that I'm from Chile. Yes, I'm from Viña. I don't shy away from that fact. But it was just awkward.
But if they give you the key to the city, obviously you're modest about it. But they understand that you've played for a band for a long time that's affected a lot of people in a good way, right?
Yeah, that's what there was a few people there that they were kind of letting me know, like, hey, listen, it's like we're really proud of you because you're representing our hometown, and people all over the world know who you are, and they know that you're from here. So this is our way of saying thank you.
What did your family think of it? What did the kids think of that?
They were there with me, so they were all excited. They were all like, it's just an odd thing. And I'm very grateful for it, and it wasn't a key; it was a coin.
So when you think back, was there a moment when you were a kid? Was there a show that you saw or a record that you heard that first sort of triggered something in your brain that made you think, I got to do this? This is what's in. I got to get this out of me somehow. What was the music that first hit you, and when did it happen?
Man, I don't know. Growing up, I used to play the broom in front of a mirror and used to sing songs. And I used to sing a lot of Beatles tunes. But it was never. I always wanted to be in a band, but that was the extent of it. Playing music and being in a band. There was nothing about being famous.
Right.
Nothing about the usual reasons that people want to be. I just wanted to play the band and play music. And I wanted to be, as a weekend, it could have been a weekend band or jam out top 40 tunes for the weekend, and that's what I was doing.
But that's not what happened.
That's not what happened, and it's exactly that. That's not what happened, and it kind of, 30 years later, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, wow, what happened? And that's basically it. You just find yourself here, and you're thinking, shit, how did this happen?
Was there live music? Did bands come through and play where you lived as a kid? Could you go see well-known bands?
No. Growing up, my sister had friends who would bring records over, and that's how I was introduced to Sabbath, to Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix. When we came to America in the '60s, we came in the '60s. Where radio was radio,
right?
And it allowed you to hear everything there was musically in one channel. Nothing was segregated.
Right.
So I was very lucky because my sisters were in their teens, and that's all they wanted to do was listen to radio. So I was kind of force-fed music, but in a way it was good because I was exposed to stuff that I probably wouldn't have been exposed to. Being a young kid that didn't speak the language,
Yeah.
And here I had teenager brothers and sisters, and they would just listen to it all the time. So I loved it. So I grew up with a really broad mindset of music. Classical music came later on. Country was pretty recent. My wife is the one that introduced me to country. She's the one. She didn't introduce me to Elvis, but she made me listen to Elvis, and I'm thinking, wow, this Elvis is awesome. So she introduced that aspect. Even though she's a metalhead herself, she loves metal. But she introduced me to that side of, and it's old country. I'm not talking about
the classic stuff,
I'm
right?
not talking about these pop country stars.
Hank Williams.
Well, yeah, Hank Williams Jr.
Yeah.
All the what was it? She named it. There's a lot of famous ones. I can't think of the names now, but all the older ones. It'd be like Vince Gill. I'm trying to think of who else. But those old country singers.
And talk to you've always I always like sort of the balance you strike with your faith, your Catholic faith, and the music you perform. You manage to get it all done. There's no conflict there for you, right? Because the band you're in, and you can separate things, right? There's no conflict at all in your creative spirit about what you sing about and what you believe.
Yeah. That's, I can separate the two. It's, the band's really good at what it does. Some of the music, a lot of the anti-religious stuff is written by Carey.
Yeah.
And he, I hate to say this, but some of the stuff he writes is like, wow, this is really good. This will piss people off. And that's how I look at it. It's more like, wow, this is good. This is going to make somebody mad.
You can look at it like that as a musician. You don't judge it through the lens of your.
Yeah.
You're able, which I think is a real.
There's no room to judge, man. I'm not I'm not going to be the first one to throw stones.
It's interesting because your faith almost, the Catholicism, that allows you to accept everything you do.
My type of Catholicism
Right.
allows me to do that because this is the way it is, and this is the way it's got to be, and you're wrong.
Right.
That's not me. My Catholicism says that I can be that way.
And then lastly, Tom, you've toured a lot over the years. You've got a big summer run starting here on Mayhem. You still look forward to this, right? I mean, I know you've got your ranch in Texas, but do you still love the road, man?
I hate to disappoint you, man. I've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah.
30 years is a long time. We just got done doing a 4-week tour in Europe. I hated leaving home. I've missed so much of my family life. Kids growing up. My son turned 13. I've missed almost every year of every birthday he's ever had. I've been out on the road, and it's usually because he falls in June. I myself have never really spent a birthday at home because I've always been out on the road. So when I've been able to stay home now. When I had my neck injury, I was home for 3 months. So I spent a lot of time with them. And then things have happened to me physically that have put me out, but have allowed me to spend time at home. And it's time that I'm trying to make up the time, and it's a little too late. But when I have to get on a plane to leave, I don't want to leave. It's because it's a part of my life that I missed, and I want to try to. I don't want to make up for it, but I don't want to leave anymore. I don't want it to disappear from me anymore. So I want that to be a big part of my life.
What do you do? I mean, is it
I get on a plane, and the minute I set foot wherever I'm at, it's like, God, I can't wait to leave. So it's the anticipation of going home that puts me through the tour. Every day that I get up, I think, okay, 10 more days, 9 more days, 8 more days, and that's what keeps me going. You know what I mean?